Just like with most of my movie reviews, I know I'm late to talking about this movie, but it's because I needed to take some time to process how I felt about the film. Not because it's a masterpiece or anything, but because I didn't know if I wanted to lean more into the positive side or the negative side of the discourse for this movie. Regardless, today we embark on an exciting journey into the realm of animation by talking about one of my most anticipated films of the year, Kung Fu Panda 4. Fans have eagerly awaited the return of the Dragon Warrior. DreamWorks Animation promised an epic adventure filled with stunning animation, exhilarating action sequences, and heartwarming moments. But does the film live up to the hype, or does it fall short of expectations? Join me as we delve deep into this latest installment of the beloved franchise, analyzing every aspect from its stellar animation to its somewhat hit or miss humor. Let's explore the world of Kung Fu Panda 4 together, so without further ado, let's dive right in. With a franchise as beloved as Kung Fu Panda, expectations were understandably high for this fourth installment. Fans were eagerly anticipating another dose of the humor, heart, and action that made the previous film so enjoyable. Personally, I'm a big fan of the Kung Fu Panda franchise. I've watched all three films countless amount of times, so of course I was excited to see how they would continue post-journey, as the third film felt like a satisfying conclusion. And that is where we start talking about some of the red flags leading up to the release for the movie. For one, even though it's been said that ever since the franchise started, the plan was always to have 6 movies, many felt like a fourth installment was unnecessary because, like I just said, the third film wrapped up pretty well. Another major concern many had was with the fact this movie is the cheapest of the now of the 4 movies, with the rest of the franchise being close to $150 million budget and the fourth installment costing $85 million. Moreover, the Furious 5 were nowhere to be seen during the marketing of the film, which is a problem in itself because the movie had only one trailer, and that trailer was released just 3 months before the film's release. Despite all of those red flags, I have to say, Kung Fu Panda 4 is a good film. It's not the best in the franchise, but at least this trilogy, well actually now it's tetralogy, whatever you want to call it, this franchise still has no bad movies. Let's start with the animation. Kung Fu Panda 4 boasts some of the most breathtaking animation we've seen in recent years. From the intricately detailed characters to the vibrant immersive environments, every frame shows the skill and dedication of the animators. Despite this being the cheapest of the 4 movies so far, I would say it has some of the best animation out of those 4 films. It still has some of the realistic textures the other movies went for, but also tries to mix in some of that Spider-Verse type animation. It's more easily comparable to the Puss in Boots sequel because it seems like that's the style they were going for, but didn't want to fully commit to it. The fluidity of movement during action sequences is particularly noteworthy, capturing the essence of martial arts with stunning visuals. Speaking of action sequences, this fourth installment delivers in spades. Each fight scene is carefully choreographed, blending traditional kung fu techniques with dynamic camera work to create moments of pulse-pounding excitement. Whether it's Po squaring off against a formidable opponent or Tai Lung showcasing his badass skills, the action in this film is nothing short of mesmerizing. You've heard many saying this has the best action sequences out of all Kung Fu Panda entries, and I thought they were exaggerating, but they were not. With the movie going at a faster pace and the other entries, the action is also faster and more dynamic, with them sometimes being your average fight scene with some cool moves here and there, but there are a couple where you can see that they still have some sauce left. For instance, there's a scene where Po is fighting the Chameleon's henchmen in a room full of smoke, and all you see are their shadows in black and white, which I thought was pretty cool. Also, one of the bigger positives is the last 20 to 30 minutes, which in my opinion are the best parts of the film. This is where we get the final battle, and it's just non-stop action with very few breaks. I think the entirety of the last the final fight of the movie is a good 10 minutes of fighting with a few lines of dialogue thrown in. While that may sound like a negative on paper, once you see it on the screen, you just want it to keep going. The score in Kung Fu Panda 4 is a perfect complement to the on-screen action. All previous Kung Fu Panda movies have had amazing original scores, and this fourth entry does not disappoint. From epic orchestral arrangements to subtle emotive melodies, the soundtrack enhances every scene, drawing viewers deeper into the world of the film. The music not only sets the tone, but also amplifies the emotional impact of key moments, adding an extra layer of depth to the few storytelling this movie has. Whenever you go into one of these movies, you should expect a great soundtrack. I mean, it's Hans Zimmer, for crying out loud. He's a mastermind when creating music. This time he works alongside Steve Mazzaro, I hope I didn't butcher up that name, to create a familiar sound that the franchise had developed, but also adds new melodies that mix in well with the movie. One of my favorite pieces in the movie is the instrumental cover of Crazy Train, which goes surprisingly well with the scene. I feel like more movies need to do these types of covers. Heck, if the Mario movie had done something like this with the licensed songs it used, those may have been received better. And also, we cannot forget about the Baby One More Time cover by Tenacious D, which has been playing on a loop in my playlist for the past week. I'm not exaggerating. However, not everything in Kung Fu Panda 4 hits the mark. While the film has its fair share of laugh-out-loud moments, the humor can be sometimes hit or miss. Some jokes land well with perfect timing, making you have like genuine laughter, while others feel forced or fall flat. The inconsistency in humor detracts slightly from the overall enjoyment of the film. The funniest part of the film is the subplot with Poe's dads going on a journey to find him, and the only reason that's in the movie is to keep the audience entertained, because the rest of the humor can be somewhat childish at times. Now let's delve into the story. Oh boy. While Kung Fu Panda 4 offers an entertaining and action-packed narrative, it ultimately feels like a missed opportunity. The plot is engaging enough, but it lacks the depth and emotional resonance that characterized previous installments in the franchise. Certain plot points and character arcs feel underdeveloped, leaving viewers longing for a more substantial exploration of the themes and conflicts at play. The concept of bringing back post-past villains sounds great on paper, but is not executed to its fullest. It feels like they are trying to combine various elements used in the previous films. The entire motivation of the chameleon is kind of stupid, if I'm being honest, and while Tai Lung's very short arc in this movie does seem a little deserved, not having Kai or Shen talk is huge missed opportunity. I know Gary Oldman and J.K. Simmons are probably expensive as hell, but it would have been better to just replace them at that point instead of not having them talk at all. The whole lesson of the movie is about accepting change and how it's not always bad. While there are moments where the theme comes into place, it does not feel as developed as the previous lessons in the past films. I'm not saying the execution in here is awful, because it's good considering the limits they had, but it just seems like it could have been just a tiny bit better. Overall, Kung Fu Panda 4 is undeniably a good movie. Its stellar animation, thrilling action sequences, and captivating music make for an enjoyable cinematic experience. However, it falls short of capturing the essence of what made the Kung Fu Panda franchise so beloved in the first place. While it's certainly worth a watch for fans of the series, it may leave some feeling a tad disappointed by its missed potential. Nonetheless, Kung Fu Panda 4 is a solid addition to the franchise and a testament to the enduring popularity of these beloved characters. This franchise still has no bad movies. I'm going to give Kung Fu Panda 4 a 7.8 out of 10. But again, that is my opinion. Let me know yours in the comments, and I will see you guys in the next video. Once I get my upload schedule right, because I have not been uploading weekly this year.